Greetings everyone, Koli Aziza here with Mariama Learning, where we support early learners' needs. It's January 2025 and this is our first installment. I have decided that this is something very important to me and I am going to continue to do these videos because over the years, as I worked as an early childhood educator and a special educator, I recognized that parents really needed as many resources as possible to advocate for their child or their children. And so I enjoy doing that. And so no matter what, I will continue doing these videos for as long as I can. And so I just want to remind families that you are your child's first teacher. And, you got this. You can do that. You can do it. There are plenty of resources out here. There are plenty of folks that want to support families of early learners, whether your child is in public school, whether your child is being homeschooled, or if your child has learning needs. I do want to remind you that with our new president in office, things may change in education. We'll see what happens. There are things that have been said that there's some changes that we've been told that the new president wants to make in the Department of Education. So we'll have to see what happens with that. And I will definitely be mentioning that in my videos as I continue. But for now, things are in place. And the last video that I did was specifically about the IEP. And I talked about the parts of the IEP. I began to talk about the parts of the IEP, the individualized education plan, that I think are most important for families to really understand. And the page that I mentioned, or one of the pages I mentioned, was the eligibility page. Remember that I did mention that depending on what state you're in, it might not be called the eligibility page, but it is the page that describes in detail how your child became eligible for an IEP. And I listed in my last video all the things that are on that eligibility page. One of the things that I forgot was the primary disability. What the team has decided is your child's primary disability based on all the data that they have collected. Now that's important because that can change. So it's important because you may be able to get certain services, additional services and resources outside of the school system based on that primary disability and based on what state you're in. It is also important because it can change. And remember that every 3 years, if your child has an IEP, your child's entitled to be reevaluated. And when your child is reevaluated based on the data that is collected from the tests and observations, the primary disability may change. So it's important for you to be aware of what the team is saying your child's primary disability is. And that is what I left off when I talked specifically about the eligibility page. So that's all I want to talk about for now. The next time I come on, I want to talk specifically about your child's goals and objectives on the IEP. It's extremely important, and it's extremely important that your child have goals and objectives that meet their needs, that are attainable, and that you understand, that are very clear to you, and that you agree upon with the team. You can also come to the table with some ideas about what you want your child's goals and objectives to be, because you are a part of the team, a part of the IEP team. So that is what I wanted to discussed today. Next time, again, we'll be discussing goals and objectives, which I feel is, of course, a huge part of the IEP. And again, we will update you on anything new that is happening with our any changes in the Department of Education, which may change some of the things that we are discussing. All right, so again, this is Koli Aziza with Mariama Learning, where we support early learners in needs. Be safe, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.